So can I just say thank you so much for finding the space in your day to watch this little video presentation and to pray during this week of, I suppose, committed or concerted prayer for the life of the church and for society and for all that we're living through at the moment. As you know, I've kind of teed up that we're kind of working our way, and I would love you just read over the first 30 verses of 2 Chronicles 20 as we go through this week. And we're going to focus today just on verse 4 and verse 13. Two little verses. Let me just read them to you. The people of Judah came together to seek help from the Lord. Indeed, they came from every town in Judah to seek him. From every town in Judah. And then verse 13 says, all the men of Judah and their wives and children and little ones stood there before the Lord. It was a time whenever Israel were under pressure, and Jehoshaphat called all the people together to inquire of the Lord, to fast and to pray. And these two verses, verse 4 and verse 13, read them again together yourselves. The people of Judah came together to seek help from the Lord. Indeed, they came from every town in Judah to seek him. All the men of Judah and their wives and children and little ones stood there before the Lord. We read in verse 13. So we're going to think today, and it's appropriate that as all the people came together as one to pray, thinking about friends, thinking about family, thinking about here families came together to pray together. I'm very thankful today to both the Wallace family, to Robert and Rhonda, to Myrtle and the girls, and also to Teresa down in Trinity Court down in Newton, who has in her care and responsibility all the residents there in Trinity Court in Newton. And so I'm very thankful to them, preparing two little videos from each home, each family, each connection there, to help us to pray in a way that will be more insightful for friends and for family. And I'm sure some of the things that they will share will really just connect with you as well. So I hope you find this initiative for the whole week helpful as we kind of try to take time each day to pray to the Lord. And remember that there are different posts each day of the week and in various areas of our life, FAITH, from family and friends, agriculture, industry, teaching and health. So I hope that you find the little videos useful, and then from that you'll also find it useful just for your own prayers, and say the little posts, and there'll be prayer points posted on the video for today or on the Facebook post that will help you as you pray more insightfully and more intelligently during this week. Thank you for sharing with us. Thank you now to the Wallace family and to Teresa.
Hello from the Wallace family, and this is our video of how we've been affected by the pandemic and the lockdown over the last 6 to 8 months. So, Mum, how has the lockdown affected you?
Well, I was not being able to see my granddaughter Molly because of the restrictions on the border. She's not able to come see me, and I miss that a lot. I also miss not being able to go to church on Sunday morning and not singing in the choir, and I miss not seeing the nice smiling faces on a Sunday morning and the interaction and the fun we used to have. I also miss going to my patchwork classes and my craft classes, because I've always met up with a lot of friends and we had a bit of fun, we had a cup of tea, and I miss all of that. I miss going to the hairdressers, as you can see, which is a terrible want. And I also miss being able to see my sister Frances in Ramelton. It seems not very far away, but with the restrictions and the distance that we're allowed to cover, well, I haven't been able to see her for a few weeks now. Actually, I think maybe the second lockdown has been sore on me than the first one, because it was summertime and good weather and we were able to get out and about and do things, you know, that well, we can't do now because the weather's not very good.
Yeah.
And I suppose, you know, you just worry that it's not going to change and that it's
Yeah.
going to go on a long time, and that sort of worries me quite a bit.
Okay. So Rhonda, from your point of view, what's your thoughts?
Well, from my point of view, I think it's been a balancing act of protecting our families' physical health from the virus, as well as our emotional and mental well-being. Charlotte and Megan got sent home from school, Robert and myself got sent home from work, and we were forced to, you know, stay in the house all together and occupy the children, as well as work from home at the same time, which wasn't without its challenges. What do you think of homeschooling? So at the same time, that being said, we're very blessed that we had the opportunity to be able to work from home. So what about you, Charlotte? How have you found the last few months? What have you missed?
What have you missed?
Neighbours and kids club.
Neighbours and kids club, yeah.
Getting out to
What
see
about you,
friends.
Megan? What have you missed?
Going to see Molly and Granny and Grandad again.
Yeah, seeing Granny and Grandad and Molly. Yep, that's for sure. So that's just a sample of some of the things that we have found over the last 6 to 8 months. And I guess looking forward, who knows what the future holds. Will we get together at Christmas? I guess nobody knows at this stage. Will families get together? And I guess the big question is when will we get back to some sort of normality? So that's just some of our thoughts around what we have found as a family over the last 6 to 8 months.
Hi, I'm Teresa and I work in Trinity Court Sheltered Housing in Newton Cunningham, and my role includes many elements of caring for the residents living there, from the administration to washing floors, to changing light bulbs, to going to the chemist, offering first aid, calling in support services and sometimes emergency services. Care in the broadest sense. COVID-19 has certainly added another layer to this care, another must-do before care can even begin proper. It has forced us to introduce elements that can come across very often as being uncaring, and then that adds to the guilt and the mental fatigue that we can feel sometimes as carers. So some mornings I wake up, I'm very grateful, I'm feeling refreshed and rested and ready to embrace another day. But yet many more mornings these days I open my eyes, finding it hard to believe that it's morning already, and I'm exhausted from tossing and turning and worrying, feeling anxious and stressed about the day ahead and what that day is going to bring. I know that I'm enough, I know that I'm good enough at my job, and then a wee bit of apprehension sets in. I take my temperature and I wait to see if that's normal. Another measure of whether we're COVID free, whether I'm fit and able to do the care. I worry about the day that might come when it's not normal, when my temperature is too high, and what that'll bring, but that's another day. Very conscious of the baggage I take into work and take into the building, and that too has taken on a new meaning. I worry, am I carrying a virus into a community and family that trusts that I'm taking all the precautions that'll keep them safe and keep the building COVID free. Throughout the day I try to see how the residents are. So from behind my mask and my screen I try to read their eyes behind their masks, and very often I see tears, I see fear, uncertainty and worry, but there's a deep loneliness setting in for many of the residents that are living in Trinity Court. At the start they asked every day, when was it going to be over, when was the COVID going to be gone, but now it's just a loneliness that they feel, and are almost a resignation that they're going to have to live with this virus. So I try to reassure them. I try to make time to talk to them. I try to find words that they'll understand. I try to listen to them, to hear the words that they don't speak, and then try to keep the place safe, but with compassion and a bit of crack and a wee bit of lightheartedness and a bit of joy. I often struggle to understand the government legislation and the recommendations that the HSE give us, and then I try to put it into a language that the residents will understand. Then I try to find the energy to do all of the cleaning and the sanitising, trying to keep the building COVID free. Mind you, there's a few residents who are very helpful with that as well. Some days it takes more effort than others to make sure I remember what Trinity Court is all about, to make sure that COVID isn't the centre or the focus of the care we deliver. It's difficult at times because some of the choices that people make might not be the best choices, might not be in their interest or in the interest of the rest of the residents. So it's difficult to provide care with a smile and a hug when before you can offer that care, you have to put on your gloves and your apron and your mask. And it would be nice to give a hug, it would be nice to receive a hug. And I even wonder at times if they realise that I'm smiling behind the mask. The only thing is, each day as I'm going home, I go home to my family, and that in itself makes me even more grateful, because many of the residents have not seen their family since last February. Some of them haven't seen family since last Christmas, and they worry that they're not going to see family this Christmas. Some of them have lost family members and weren't able to go and spend sort of a few moments with them before they passed, or to go to funerals or gravesides, and that's even adding to the burden of sadness and loneliness that they feel. We do what we can to help, but they're very proud, they're very independent, and they don't like to, in their own words, be a nuisance. They miss going to the shop, they miss lifting their own pension, and going to their respective churches and meeting friends. So that helps me feel so privileged to work and care for those living in Trinity Court. Thank you.